So did you work on the first Jedi or just the second one?
Both, from start to finish. Both.
Oh, nice.
So, Masters of the Universe kind of time frame.
Yeah.
With way more cocaine. Speaking of wildlife, there's a pig.
There's a tiny little... I don't know enough about D&D.
Dragon.
Isn't there like a meatball guy?
A meatball.
A meatball guy? All right, well, please forgive us, D&D audience.
All right, welcome back to RPG. We are just a couple of really passionate geeks. The best threesome that you'll see on the internet that you don't have to be 18 to watch. So, along with me, as always, my co-host, I will hand it over to John, who's shaking his head at me.
Oh man, you can't do that with this. No, man, like come on. The Patreon isn't even up and running yet. We can't. Come on now. Well, I'm John Wolheim, and I'm so excited to be here, and I hope you all have a fire extinguisher because we are bringing the heat today. We're bringing the heat, son. Yes, we have an amazing guest, but first, let's throw it over to the man in the Tracer shirt. Speaking of fit check, over to the fit man, J-Dubs.
Yeah, you know me. I always got to do the fit check. So I am rocking the Tracer, my favorite game from Overwatch 2. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate, but I still love playing that game. All right. And I'm having super fun with the Transformers update. Transformers. But, happy to be here and excited to hear about our new guest.
Yep. We will pass it over. This is Amy Fry. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Amy.
Hello.
And don't be humble. Let us know all the good stuff.
I'm Amy Fry. I'm a concept artist, and I worked on Titanfall 2, Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, and then a 2 be disclosed later game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow.
So surreptitious.
So did you work on the first Jedi or just the second one?
Both, from start to finish. Both.
Oh, nice.
Dang.
So now you've got some iconic characters, right? Let alone you said, I think, all of the female characters, right? And then a few of the...
Almost all of the female characters, except for maybe 2.
Wow.
All of them, at least for Survivor. For Fallen Order, since I was still, like, starting off, I got a few, and then, the second game, they're just like, yeah, the female should do the female characters. And I'm like, yeah, cooler clothes.
And that's what kind of direction do you get for that? Or is it just like they say, hey, we need, a tomboy type of character. We need like a damsel in distress, or like what kind of direction do you get?
Kind of. You get so they already have the whole story obviously written out. So you read the story, obviously, and see, just see how they play out throughout the story, what they're doing, how you interact with them, and what their moments are. And then, but not only that, you get like a beat sheet, like the writers, if they really do want to flesh out this character, if it's a more playable character like NPCs and stuff, we don't really mess with that, but you will get a script and it'll kind of give you a little blurb about the character, like maybe its background story or what it's going to do in the future, or sometimes they just don't know and they just want a character, but they'll tell you at least like what they're doing and like what their goal is in the game or what they're supposed to be doing, and then I start spitballing, and then that's what Blue Sky is. So I'm just drawing pictures, and I meet back with the narration team, and then we just back and forth until we land on something.
Oh, that's way too cool.
I have a story on Fallen Order. I was playing, so Mixer is a streaming service that used to be before, or is no longer available. That was by Microsoft. And I remember I was streaming on Mixer for playing Jedi Fallen Order, and some of the devs came on, and I guess to help promote their game, they were watching people streaming it, and then they were like chatting with me. And as a streamer, sometimes you get caught up in like, not really paying attention to chat. So
Oh no.
this person would be asking me, I'm just thinking it's a nobody. He's like, "Oh, how are you enjoying the game?" I'm like, "Well, as you can see, I'm playing the game. Just being really snarky,
Not playing.
just being really snarky, or not really mean, but just like, hello, you're in my chat. You see me playing the game. That's how I'm enjoying it." And I would just respond like that 3 times until like everyone in chat. Then I started seeing everyone in chat going, "Hey, you know who this person is? You know who this person is?" And then I noticed there was a official logo on there, and I was like, "Oh no!" But yeah,
I just see you get like a subscriber notice. It's like, "Oh, thanks for the follow. Those are actually the devs. Shut up. Oh my god, those are the devs."
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. This little chat bar up top. Bing,
oh
bing,
no.
Oh no!
My boyfriend works on Apex, and yeah, it's the same thing where, people will be talking shit, like in chat and stuff, and then someone else will be like, "He's a dev, look at the badge." And they're like, and then they look and they're like, "Oh shit, you want to be friends?" And it's like, "Oh, now you
Drop some of that early gear for me, bro.
yeah,
Tired.
Yeah.
player."
So Call of Duty, which is Activision, which is part of Activision Blizzard King Microsoft. Call of Duty, the employees would have badges. You can actually see their employees of Activision when playing. But Blizzard, since I used to work at Blizzard, did not allow that. And I don't know, it's so funny how they allowed it for Activision, which is the most toxic community out there, but they didn't allow it for like Overwatch, which is toxic, but it's not as toxic. I don't think it is. I don't know. Would you wear a badge? Like, would you wear a badge in the game saying that you work for this company? Like, I think I would just be
It's a
overwhelmed.
sheriff star. Yeah.
Yeah, what powers come with
I
this
got
badge?
chaps to go with it.
Oh, fuck no! I don't want knowing that I worked on it and I'm sucking ass.
Yeah, that's my point. I don't want them seeing like, oh yeah, this guy sucks.
That's like when I go bowling and I whip out like my personal ball. People expect me
Engraved.
to spell. Yeah, it's engraved. It's got my name on it.
Kiwi's been kicked out of a few bars for doing something similar to what you just described, actually.
Yeah, whipping balls out and engraved with
Whipping balls off. Like, nobody messed with the Jesus. For the Lebowski fans out there.
I just want my
Big Lebowski.
So we need to pause and throw some fit check on here, because Kiwi, we're staring at your Stark Industries right now, and I'm sure more than one person would love to acknowledge that beauty right there.
Please do. It's just within camera frame. I did that on purpose. But yeah. Stark Industries, you can't go wrong. My boy Tony and me, we go way back, so I figured I'd represent.
Yeah, I think we all went to middle school.
Yeah, we had art class, right? Is that?
Yeah. We went in art class.
Funny story, by the way. That's how I know Amy. We've actually known each other since I think middle, junior high, somewhere in there, maybe even sooner.
Wow.
Yeah, way back.
Because I didn't like drawing cartoons. I only liked doing real life or the still life shit. I would switch. I'd be like, "Draw them cartoons for me," and they'd leave it in the art box. The funny thing is, our teacher, Miss Casper, she knew. She pulled me aside. She's like, "I know what you're doing," and I was like, "Oh, you caught on."
She always know.
It was obvious. Yeah, you had a very specific style.
Very distinct, right? And then I think there was one other of our friends. We used to try to hide fallacies in every picture that we could, every assignment, and turn them in.
Seems
Classic high school boy stuff. So anyways, what do you got going on there, John?
I just hope you never made like a magic eye painting. Anyway, so I
remember those.
In honor of our most recent D&D themed stream, I have my ADHD&D. Wait, whose turn is it again? Shirt.
I love that.
Ooh.
If you ever played a longer campaign, especially when you're on hour 3 or 4, this can kick in, especially if there's any sort of additional sauce getting put down on the steak, if you know what I mean. If everybody's sipping or otherwys, you get to getting a little giggly, and then whose turn is it?
Yeah, you're gonna have to make another
question we like to ask our guests, Amy, if you don't mind, if you know about D&D, what would be your favorite class or in alignment would be if you were to start to do D&D camp?
Definitely a dwarf.
One where the dog squeezes?
For sure. The boglings, definitely. I don't know enough about D&D.
Dragon.
Isn't there like a meatball guy?
A meatball guy.
A meatball guy?
Yep, there's a meatball shaman. Yep.
Oh, maybe,
Stand by.
maybe I'm thinking of
The butcher.
no,
There's a whole marinara-based skill tree.
the cards.
Butcher Pete.
Oh, I'm thinking of Magic. Sorry, about
Oh,
Oh,
D&D.
just think of any fantasy. World of Warcraft, Baldur's Gate, they all share the same.
You could be whatever you want.
I want to
We'll keep it
create an
simple.
entire D&D spinoff based on meats.
We can keep this simple. Are you a
I like
wizard?
meatball and Frylock.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's meat one, Frylock, and shake coming in.
All right. Well, please forgive us, D&D audience.
Sorry.
Hey, why did our follower count drop by 28%?
Like this is just shit. I'm out of here.
That's a clip-worthy clip right there.
People,
Gordon.
they'll come for the talk and they'll stay for the meatballs.
Gordon Ramsay lands on our channel. What the hell am I doing here?
Oh,
Idiot sandwich!
All right.
damn it.
Phew. All right. Well, bringing Amy on today, I am the Navi for the week. I wanted to keep it pretty casual, but I figured we're going to be on this topic of art and just, all types of artwork. I wanted to start with some classics. Maybe what game, because we're all gamers, obviously, had your favorite or most memorable, art style? Anything in particular coming out to mind? I mean, we're talking, even if it's retro and it went from, 32 or 64 to from 8 or whatever. Some of the modern stuff, right? The new Final Fantasies.
I'm going to
Pick
come
your
right out
poison.
the gates and say Ori and Shadow of the Colossus.
Beautiful. Oh, very beautiful.
Shadow Colossus.
Shadow Colossus. I love that. The feeling of scale that they do with the fog and everything. Love it.
Okay,
I
so
don't think anybody did that again until Zelda.
The Breath of the Wild or
Yeah, Breath of the Wild.
yeah. Some of the God of Wars really kind of follow that suit, but
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Amy, what about you?
love God of War. But yeah, when it comes to art styles, I do have to say that. So the funny thing is, okay, so just actually, first off the bat, when I think of something that is just really kind of touches me for some reason, and it's so very normal video game art, is BioShock Infinite.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I love that game so much. I played it so many times, but I like that. It's just a typical video game style, but I really like that. And then
It kind of had that theme of course now I'm not going to remember the name of it. Dishonored, right? That kind of art style, yeah. Just more open and airy.
Yeah.
if you ever want to get an art book, get Dishonored. That is the sickest art book I ever got.
Dishonored art.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Got so many art books from video games because I think they're so. And
So we
it's
did-
fun to see what it could have been.
We did a whole episode one time, and I laid into him, and I said I was that guy back in the day that would steal the art books and stuff out of the games when you rent them from Blockbuster. 100%.
Didn't make any friends on that episode, Kiwi.
Yeah. I know, I was about to say something, but I'm like, never mind. I don't want. But there was a game that I was actually really surprised that I ended up really liking the style because when I first saw it, I hated it. I hated the style, but I played the game and then I loved it. Borderlands.
That was going to be my game. I was going to say.
Shading.
I hated the shell shading. I hated it. I thought I was so lazy and dumb, and I didn't like it. And then you play the game, and you're like, guns, guns, guns!
This works, right? Big comic
Guns,
book.
guns.
Joy puke. And
Yeah. So I love that. And then something that is just beautiful to watch. It's still a fun game, but absolutely gorgeous to watch is Trine, or Trine 3. It's my
Is that the the infinite falling one?
It's like you can play 3 different characters. One's like an archer, which is like a chick. One's like an old wizard guy, and one's like the burly fucking, I don't know.
Barbarian.
I don't know what you call it, whatever that is. And and then you can use the magic to move stuff, and then the guy moves, and she can shoot stuff to make other things happen. I don't know.
It was an indie game, right?
It's so kind of. I don't know because they made 3 of them, so I don't know if it's they got more money or.
Triple indie.
It's beautiful, and I think it's cool. You should play it.
I dig it. What about you, Jada? What comes to mind?
I mean, of course, I don't want to keep going back to Final Fantasy. I mean, I do love Final Fantasy artwork. It has a unique style. I love that each game has the same style, but a different background for the cover art, which is kind of like a water painting kind of style. But then when you actually go in the game, it's completely different for the cover art. I will say my 3 games right now that are coming off the top of my head is Ghost of Tsushima.
Ooh, yeah.
Just beautiful animation, beautiful soundtrack. I remember just stopping at the waterfalls and just listening, and while you're doing your flute, and just noticing the different backgrounds and how serene it is. It was really gorgeous. This is one of the most gorgeous games I've ever played.
Yeah, when you do those poetry portions where you have to sit and pick the different lines for so beautiful.
Like that I was the flute. I actually, even downloading the soundtrack after that game, when I beat the game, I was just like, I would use it as meditations in the morning. And fun fact, I still use the Karate Kid Part 1 soundtrack for, like, you know,
your montages in the morning,
peaceful moments. Yeah, it's
karate in the garage.
It's just
hey, can we go do karate in the garage?
Not even the karate part. It's just the flute. I just love the bamboo flutes. They're awesome. But let's taking it back to old school.
I know what to get you for Christmas now.
Here lies Justin. He loved a flute.
Working flutes for Christmas.
So this is a new game, but it's based on old graphics. So like the old 1960s and even the 30s, when Mickey Mouse first came out and Looney Tunes first came out.
Cuphead.
Yeah. I mean, Cuphead.
Clean.
Yeah, Cuphead is clean and simple, and it's just so different from the other games out there. There's a new game coming out, 2025. It's called Mouse, and it's based on like Mickey Mouse, like the 1930s Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse, and you're a detective, and it's Cuphead style.
Wait, is it MAUS?
MOUSE.
Oh, okay.
Mickey Mouse. MOUSE.
The sequel is called Keyboard. There was one called MAUS, a comic called MAUS, which was like mice during World War II back in the day. That was a rough comic. I remember reading that when I was like 12, thinking I was signing up for some like Fantastic Four action. No, and
that's like watching Pan's Labyrinth, and you're like, "Whoa, this is not the fairy tale I thought it was."
Lighthearted children.
Oh man, Pan's Labyrinth. Talk about debated, man. That really got you as a little kid. Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Or even watching what was Labyrinth? Or even just Labyrinth. Remember the Goblin? Goblin
things to teach you.
Creepy vibes.
Like when those little characters took off their heads, it was just so creepy, and they started passing around like, let's take off her head.
Yeah,
play ball with her head.
Why
Do
not?
you guys remember the like Wizard of Oz follow-up that was released? This was like before it was cool to make prequel sequel stuff, but it was like Return to Oz or something like that. Remember this? It was like the automatons, and there was like a whole race of these things. Like Dorothy goes back and the world is like destroyed.
This is not with James Franco, right?
No, this was made in like 92 kind of stuff.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, I don't know. Dystopian Oz, like the T-2000s took over? Or
I
what?
mean, I love it when you can reboot something simple like Chuck E. Cheese and make it into Five Nights at Freddy's. Turning something that we all feel good about, and then it turns into like a horror film.
Don't fix what ain't broke. Right? So I think, go ahead.
While we're looking at this, but Hades is another game that I want to call out for its art style. Hades, yes. I'm halfway through Hades 2 right now, and it is so good.
Yeah, that is a good one. Going last kind of sucks because you guys, every time I thought of one, you took it. But some honorable mentions, right? Not necessarily the game itself, but the art book and the art style for the concepts and things like that for Ocarina of Time were some of my favorite back then, the artwork. And then actually right behind that, in the game itself, Majora's Mask. Very good vibes in Majora's Mask. I like that.
Yeah. That was groundbreaking stuff. That the moon coming up, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love that whole...
Yeah, I love how they change their art style, too. Zelda changes their art style all the time. I don't know how much longer they're going to keep the Breath of the Wild. art style.
Depends on how they do the movie, right? Which game they adapt to the movie.
Yeah.
They'll go into that, I bet.
I still like the classic, Linked Past art style, just the top down. I don't know. Maybe I'm an old school gamer.
Like
Yeah,
all day long.
That's all right. And then and then there were some other ones, right? Borderlands was one of my favorites. Anything where they started putting two-dimensional shading and graphics on top of three-dimensional art, I love that kind of style, right? Arcane, what they did with that.
Did that. It was like a revolution how they did the 2D with the 3D CGI.
Yep, Assassin's Creed was another one I think had a one of those early open world kind of beautiful aesthetics. And then when that first BioShock came out, I know that was a big deal. Oh, you know what though? One last thing, we can't talk about pretty maps and memorable, like iconic artwork without talking about the first Halo. You get on, you see the whole ring going up across, right? Everybody tries to shoot it. Right? Yeah.
And the soundtrack too. The soundtrack was amazing.
Honorable mentions.
What was the name of that map that everybody just played forever? Gulch.
Blood Gulch.
Were you trying to find the golden warthog?
All day long, baby.
So you guys aren't going to believe this, but so the Return to Oz was actually 1985. It was made by Disney. It made $11 million at the box office, so it was a flop, but it won the Oscar for Best Visuals, and it featured what many believe to be the first debut of Jack Skellington.
Oh,
really?
1985.
Oh, yeah. I see the pumpkin scarecrow.
Yeah. Yeah, when did Nightmare Before Christmas come out?
99?
I guess after
2000, early 2000.
Dang, why does it feel so much older?
I would love to see that version.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Cool.
It looks creepy. It looks really creepy.
He's made out of like wood, but he's brought to life by this like magical powder called the Powder of Life.
Yeah.
Okay, I would play the hell out of this video game. Somebody needs to make an open world Return to Oz, and I'm beta testing for you right now.
I'm in for that for sure. Everything in the 80s kind of had like a weird vibe and aesthetic to it, right? The Blob, the Jasons that came out.
For sure.
There was the 80s, baby.
80s aesthetic, right? Very. I was watching Kung Fury yesterday. You guys.
Oh god,
Kung Fury,
incredible movie. Incredible movie. Triceratops.
Why were things so crazy back then? Like, why do we think that is the case?
There were no cell phones, so no one was filming.
No limitations.
Lots of
no
drugs.
limitations. There was no sensitivity guidelines. We didn't know what was sensitive or not.
Yeah.
Well, how about
filmed all of the time?
Yeah.
So you could get away with stuff.
You could drop some really horrible IP and then just disappear.
But Kung Fury was 2015 movie.
Yeah, it was just the 80s aesthetic.
Yeah, 80s. Yeah, 80s synth.
You can't beat it. Great movie.
Oh man, I just love Hacker Man. I still use Hacker Man gifs.
Triceratops, like just the greatest. I was bitten by a cobra and then struck by lightning, and then
You know what else was creepy back in the 80s was Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh yeah.
I've got stacks and stacks. Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh man, I wonder if those are worth anything.
Yes, they are.
Better be.
That's one of those like you see that at a garage sale. Swoop.
Yeah,
Oh, I'd always
pick that up.
I stole.
PSA 10 Garbage Pail Kids worth about $700.
Ooh.
There's a Garbage Pail Kids cookbook. Oh, maybe we can make that for the Christmas episode.
Oh, yeah, we'll each pick a recipe.
I remember watching the movie and that pimply kid who's all, big and fat, and he just is snot just draining down the whole movie. I'm just like, oh, like how did I thought this was the coolest movie ever?
There's a movie?
I was just gonna say I did never see a movie.
Rough.
I never even knew there was a movie. What is
there was a movie.
Snippy kind of like.
Exactly.
And it was no CGI. It was all, of course, Jim Henson puppets.
CGI. Wow. When did this come out?
Oh my gosh. So I'm just looking at the ratings for it. The ratings are so low. IMDb scored it a 2.7. TV Guide scored it a 1%.
A 1%.
Rotten Tomatoes created an entirely new tomato varietal just to score it.
Yeah. 0 tomatoes if I could, but I.
Yeah. Where the hell's TV Guide been for the last
Negative
20 years?
12 unripe Romas.
Negative 12 cherry tomatoes.
Oh man, I can't
Wow,
watch that
Garbage
movie.
Pail Kids has mutated. There's some weird stuff that they've done in the last like 10 years. Now they've just gone to a
They've
an
been
interesting
around for like
place.
35, so I'm sure they're going to change up a little bit.
We all got weird around 35, I'd say.
Oh yeah, all our quarter life crisis just a little late.
So let's keep that theme going, I guess. We're all a bunch of nerds and art lovers and everything. So why don't we say anime? How about our favorite anime art style? Because now
man,
we're
you
going to talk
wanna
about...
cancel.
Why
are you trying to cancel us?
We have to take Ghibli off the table though, because it's too dominant.
Ooh.
It's just everything is Ghibli, right? Like,
Well, I can bring up some deep cuts, and one of my favorite art styles growing up, Toonami, right back in the day when they used to play those random movies in the middle of the night, and you discover some new ones, right? The Outlaw Stars and Cowboy Bebops. There was a mini series you might not remember that was called Blue Submarine Number 6. And Blue Sub 6 was a 3-part miniseries, and it was like the Bioshock of its time. They had animators just for the water. The shark creatures were just so well done. It had like this really dark and ominous theme. The explosions, right? Very Gundam. Like, oh, speaking of which, Gundam, it's got to be on top of my list somewhere.
Blue Submarine 6, you said?
Yeah. And I would
You,
say, like,
you almost stumbled into Mind Kiwi, which is Neon Genesis Evangelion.
ooh, well, yeah.
You said that right too. Oh, look at you.
Look at John.
You didn't stumble.
Flexing on us.
Evangelion.
Who's going to say Akira first?
Oh no! Such like the basic,
Right.
the
Yeah.
frappuccino of anime choices.
You know what, though?
I think Dragon Ball takes that cake.
Oh, yeah, 90s Dragon Ball. Mwah.
My favorite. So I'm not a huge anime person because I don't really care for any cartoons of any genre.
Wow.
That's okay.
Never.
Okay. You are really trying to get
I
canceled.
am basically anti-Disney. My parents didn't raise me that way. I never watched cartoons or
No
Disney.
Fantasia for you.
Oh, I watched Fantasia.
Oh,
That's all.
okay.
And the
Interesting exception.
original Mickey, where he's like,
Oh, yeah, the Steamboat Willie.
Oh, Willie. The
Those
date of-
are-
Oh, really? Yeah.
otherwise it was Predator and Alien and Gremlins. And
Oh, okay. Well, that's acceptable.
So that was like my childhood. So I never watched cartoons because my parents were 40 when they had me. So they're like, yeah, we don't want to watch that shit.
I got time for that.
But when it does come to anime, my favorite now, I realize, it's because of Corwin, is Death Note.
Yes.
Oh, great. To make
Yeah.
writing in a diary exciting takes a lot of effort, and they did it.
Yeah.
Whatever writing one. This bitch is
So aggressive.
Well-
Like,
Speaking of which, did you watch the Future Diaries?
What'd you
no.
say?
Future Diaries.
Mm-mm.
Rough. It's one of those that it's almost like Doki Doki Literature Club, where you're like, oh, this is cute, this is nice, like this is fun, and then maybe 4 or 5 episodes in, you realize, oh, I've committed to something that's going to scar me, and yes, it does, it will.
How so? How so?
Oh, it goes into some like deep psychological trauma and some real like. Basically, there's 12 diaries that are given out to people around the world. They're all kids. So it's like a Hunger Games-esque sort of thing. And every diary can predict or do different things. Most of them have some sort of like future telling aspect. Some can tell what you think, some can tell what you'll do, some can tell where you'll go. And the last person to have all the diaries becomes God, essentially. So yeah,
It's like
light topic.
Jet Li's the one.
Jet Li.
That's my favorite.
The one?
Jet Li.
That's probably his best movie.
His best work ever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially, you got, what's the Let the Bodies Hit the Floor song, like, just while he's just dropping elbows and karate chops all over the place.
Karate chops.
Are we still on the topic of best anime?
It's your turn, yep.
Yeah. I feel like Justin.
I actually was going to choose Death Note, but I'll pick another one, and then I will sway away from the common I'll sway away from One Piece, Dragon Ball. I'll sway away from that. For me, I just remember watching Fist of the North Star.
Oh yeah.
So,
Another deep one. Yeah.
do you guys remember the anime scene where he is fighting a big dude and he's like, the big dude, of course, is taunting and flexing. He's like, you're a scrawny guy. I can beat you.
On a
and
bridge.
all he does is one move. Yeah. And he's like, you're already dead. And the guy's still talking, the enemy's still talking. And then he suddenly explodes.
I hate when that happens.
Justin, they made a live action of this.
Of Fist of the North Star?
Fist of the North Star.
Movie?
Netflix thing or
1995.
Oh, no wonder.
Oh man, it's gonna be so
out
good.
Of here.
Oh, no way.
That's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
One of our streams has to be like cheesy old, like Tammy and the T-Rex kind of movies one day.
Oh, Mystery Science, Theater 3000 kind of stuff.
Yep, we got to do it one day.
Oh my god, I think there's more than one movie.
I have the camera behind you guys, so you just see your heads.
Yeah, it's just the silhouettes. That's all we need.
Oh, geez. I'm looking at the cover art for it. This looks like Netflix, like the very bottom of the list.
I'm going to pop that up on a little screen. I'm going to put that trailer there so people see.
Well, while Justin's discovering his newest fandom, I have a more recent entry to the anime art scene that may tickle some fancies, and that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Has anyone here enjoyed it? What is the what? It's amazing. It's so good.
I'm one of the few that is blah, but
oh
no.
Come on now, come now.
I
It's
just
so
can't bring myself to watch it. It's so bad.
My heavens, Amy, it's so good that it may bridge past your distaste for animation. It's so good. No, it won't. It won't though.
I honestly thought you were going to say JoJo Siwa.
Yeah.
What?
She's been all over the news lately, or not news, but TikTok, where she does this stupid dance where she's like over the top, hyper, and like trying to be like so relevant. It's funny. One of the questions, she's in that phase of like Hannah Montana, where you're trying to separate yourself so hard from your cast growing up, and she was another Disney star. So now she's trying to be gay pop. She's trying to make gay pop a thing, but like emo. She was like dressed in this makeup that looks like Kiss, from the 1980s with
this real?
Like, the stars in her eyes.
Gay pop juggalo, like
ICP, Insane Clown Posse / gay pop.
Oh no.
Well, anyways, she's like trying so hard, and people are making fun of her. And they asked her a question. They were like, "Hey, if you were to have anyone on your podcast, who would it be?" And she's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna make it spicy. Maybe my ex." And she's like, "Ha ha ha! Is that like spicy?" And then the reporter was like, "I guess."
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Is that spicy?
like you're trying to be over the top.
Amazing.
Yeah. JoJo Siwa.
No, fair. Whatever for her.
Whatever's clever.
Whatever's clever.
Get after it, JoJo.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, that's. Bizarre for sure.
I know that for you.
Well, what about Amy? What's your favorite, like your character or your design, something that you've made that's your favorite?
Obviously, I love the Bogling.
Bogling. Well, I'll pull up a little picture on the screen. It's like a cute little swamp bunny.
Fuck you. That's the cutest I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. I think maybe character-wise, probably Marion, just because she's like a main character.
Yeah.
And especially in the game, and I'll stop there. But, maybe I'm mostly proud of her just because she's like more of a main character.
Yeah. Well,
Fogling's just kids fuck. So.
What did you do on Titanfall specifically?
Titanfall. So I only did DLC, so I didn't actually work on Titanfall. Well, I don't know how you say. Like I did work on it because I did DLC, but then again, it was DLC, so I didn't work on the actual game. I worked on downloadable content.
That's all right. That's more than I've done.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Well, that was me like sneaking my way into the industry. You know? Like banners and call signs and shit like that.
Very cool. That's considered like UI, right, or UX kind of stuff, or
UI UX would be using shit like that. Basically that's what it is. But I'm making the art for that. So
I think Titanfall's on crazy deal still, isn't it, on Steam?
It
was like 90. I think I got it for like $2 the other day.
You should.
Oh wow!
Never mind. I was gonna say you should get it for free, but no. Titanfall's dope. All Titanfall is dope because that was all great Respawn. It was still EA bought us.
That was just Respawn, all on their own, doing their own thing, huh?
Yeah. Just Respawn.
Those were the good days.
Yeah, good days. Oh, back when
before 4 times.
Before 4.
And the birds were chirping, and I was a happy gal.
Yeah.
Amy, what are your thoughts on Rick and Morty?
Love Rick and Morty.
But it's animated.
I know,
but it's not anime.
True. But I did say animated. But you got me. You got me right there. It's because of the comedy. If you get good comedy, you got me, and I don't care what I'm watching. But I don't care to watch cartoons. So you got to be some really witty, great writer. Like, you got to have something that's really making me want to watch it. So I think Rick and Morty's fucking fantastic.
Super Mario Brothers movie?
Never seen that.
You haven't seen it?
John Leguizamo and the
No, the new one.
The new animated one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've never seen fucking Cinderella or Beauty. I've never seen that either. Or Seven Dwarfs, whatever the fuck it is.
It's very interesting. You're in art, but you don't watch the animations. That's interesting.
Well, where do you get your inspiration from? Like, what do you watch or read to kind of like, what sparks some reference inspiration?
Saw, Science of Gremlins, Terminator,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the usual.
So if they tell you to do a certain art style, like, hey, we want it like in a Disney art style, would you do homework?
That's not Amy.
I don't apply for those jobs.
So you were like, no, it's not for me. Okay.
I would never, no.
You got convictions. I like it.
But also you're not going to deliver, a meaningful product either if it's not your style or something you'd like to do.
But yeah, I know it's not what I'm into, so I'm saving us both the hassle by saying no. Because I've been offered a job. I don't know if I should say. I don't know if it's better. I don't know. But I got offered a job, but it was and it was for a video game. But it was very like cartoony style and or artistic. I don't know.
Right.
It's just not my style. So I had to say no, even though it was a very nice offer.
Pokemon.
I can do it. It's just I don't have any interest in doing it.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I'd rather be laying in my bed poor than drawing to look at.
I would imagine it must be so much more like so necessary to enjoy the style when you're creating the art for it, right? As opposed to like a gameplay engineer or front end designer or whatever, where you're like, whatever, it's all the same, whether I like it or not. Not when you're creating the art.
Yeah, well, and I'm so glad I was already like that, because now actually going through this, 8-9 years of working for video games and stuff, learning that it will rip the fun out of for you. You think you have fun. You know how, like, when you're a kid and they're like, oh, if you get a job doing what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Yeah, right. No, all it's going to do is here's your dream, here's the dirt. That's what it's going to do.
Was that the people's elbow?
That was the people's elbow on your dreams.
Oh no! Not my dreams!
From the top rope.
Suplex from the top rope!
I didn't want to glaze over when you were talking about Rick and Morty having good writing and everything. I just always think of my all-time favorite episode was the interdimensional cable one, where it was
every
completely
single one.
improvised.
So
The
many
whole
memes from that.
episode completely improvised. I don't know if you guys know that. They were in the booth drinking
get
and
drunk?
just improvised every line of that episode, and it was perfection.
Some of the best ones do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like SNL was perfect example of just improvisation.
I'm the eyeball man.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, good times. I love it.
None of that. Tell me. They're like, yeah.
Speaking of cartoons, did you guys know of the wrestling cartoon? Did you guys know there was a wrestling cartoon with Roddy Piper, Hulk Hogan,
Macho Man?
Man?
I imagine this being like, Masters of the Universe kind of time frame.
Yeah.
With way more cocaine.
Yeah, very G.I. Joe-ish.
Hulk Hogan cartoon.
And who was it? The $1 Million Man.
I think we found Amy's.
Yeah, she's like, all right, there's two to put on my
Tell
list.
me more.
Come with it.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone comes with a complimentary like gram of
Your favorite powder-based intoxicant?
Yeah, Hulk Hogan, old comics. That's I like to crush them up into powder form.
just the comics themselves.
Yeah, I just do the comics.
I want to check. Was this the same dynamic that any of you all had, where WWF was to WCW as Marvel was to DC?
Yeah, of
where
course.
you had the like big flashy stuff and edgy and crazy and cool, and then there's this like generic Kirkland signature wrestling going on like TBS, and you're like, are they just wearing basic colored and that's it? Like,
yeah, I do think the lighting was different, the budget was different.
Oh, yeah.
Until Hulk Hogan went over NWO. Now that's when I switched it over, and I was like, I'm watching them.
Yeah, and it went through all those, right? WWE, NWO. What were some of the other iterations, like WWFW or something? Like I remember they just started throwing words around.
World Wildlife Federation.
Yeah. When they came in, right? I just remember.
Look at wildlife. Speaking of wildlife, there's a pig.
There's a tiny little
It's a bogling.
It's a bogling.
There's your meatball.
Yeah, there's a meatball for sure. Look at that thing.
He's meatball. Yeah, I call him Big Mac.
Oh boy.
You're probably the only person to have a Doberman and not do some kind of Resident Evil reference for the name.
We had Hannibal Lecter, now we have Nosferatu, so I went demonic.
Just as good. This new Nosferatu, is everybody excited? Have you seen the trailer for it?
Yeah.
No? It actually looks good.
But I did put out our Happy Halloween placemat this morning because, fun fact, so July 5th until November 28th is Halloween, just so you know.
Bro.
According to Target, according to Home Depot, yes.
Oh, yeah, when
Costco,
the big...
They'll tell you right now.
Costco, yeah, they're all doing it.
Boy.
I saw a TikTok video of a guy pulling in this big skeleton head on top of one of the Home Depot carts, and I was just like, dang, it's already that time again.
No, it's
That time.
not.
They're selling.
Halloween. It's not that time.
It's just always warm up for Halloween or cool down from Halloween. Those are the two options.
Well, Halloween cosplay. I mean, I already picked out my outfit for Halloween, and it is cosplay. It's from Final Fantasy. So I don't know if you guys have thought about your costumes yet.
He's going to be like a naughty Cloud Strife. Like,
yeah, right.
No, he's going to be...
Yes,
He's going to be... What's his name from X10, X2?
Oh no!
What's his name with the half
with the jorts
pants? Yeah, with the overall things.
Justin, please tell us you're wearing the asymmetrical shorts.
I am not one of those bandwagon people. I'm going to dress up as Cloud. I'm going to dress up as Tifa. I actually cosplayed one Comic Con from Class 0, Final Fantasy Class 0. So like think of like that, like a little bit more.
Gonna be a chocobo.
Chocobo.
Are you going to be the golden saucer?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Be every single Knights of the Round.
I'll be Kate Sif.
Well, this is my year. So each year we go back and forth, my wife and I, picking the costumes. Yeah. So I did the first one when we had our newborn. It was Jurassic Park. I was Dr. Grant. Yeah, we had the baby dressed up as a little dinosaur. It was perfect. We nailed it. Right? I showed you.
It was phenomenal.
So then the following year, she was pregnant again. We were kind of lazy, so we did pumpkins. We were all just pumpkins. Whatever. But this year it's my turn again, and we're gonna do something. I don't know what. I'm thinking American Dad, maybe Stan, Francine, dress one of them as was Roger. We'll figure it out.
You just
Um,
My boss did Incredibles with his newborn.
Nice.
The baby's a lobster in a pot.
We'll do the boys. We'll do the boys and just go as terrible as possible.
Oh, no.
So who's the
She could be a little Kamiko or Starlight or something.
I don't know about that.
We're doing a full-on professional photo shoot where our 17-month-old daughter, she has curly hair. She looks very much like Peter Jackson's daughter in Fellowship. And so we are doing a professional Hobbit photo shoot.
Yeah, put some big, like, prosthetic feet, like little hairy prosthetic feet.
I wish we had to. We don't. She got my big feet. Her foot looks like your beard. Just kidding. That's not right. That's not real. Lexi, I'm just joking.
It's all right. You won't have to worry about her dating then. Well,
that's the secret. Have a podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
Let everybody into your real life. Okay. Well, I think we're good with that. Amy, is there anything new stuff? Anything you want to like announce, throw out there? I mean, we don't have too big of a following yet, but somebody will hear it.
Cool. No, I'm just chilling, baby.
That's
I'm
right.
just chilling.
Well, you said there's something coming, so you'll let us know when that something's allowed to be talked about.
There is something coming.
Okay.
But I can't talk about it, and it'll be another 2 years before I can talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
okay. All right. Well, we'll talk to you in 2 years.
That's the thing with gaming. People don't realize how long it takes to make a game. Well, I mean, it depends, right? But most games do take that 3 to 5 year mark.
Yeah.
That's the shitty thing that people don't understand.
Wow.
And actually, maybe that's something that would be nice to put out there. Is it's very easy. Like, so when we play games, Corbin and I, because he also makes games too, he worked on Titanfall 2 and also Apex and Medal of Honor.
Is he there with you? Just bring him on in real quick.
Yeah.
All right.
In here?
Some show creds.
Here.
Might as well pop in and say hi.
A little tag. Apex, Titanfall 2 games.
What's up, Corwin?
Hey, controller in hand.
He's playing
There you go. Yeah. There's your tag.
Not playing Apex?
He's in a live game as we speak. We all know that
yeah, he's working
right there.
Yeah,
he's working on the new Apex.
Yeah, a mandatory appearance.
Yeah, you gotta get back.
I gotta say, I was honored. It was so much fun to let you guys borrow the PS5 and come over for the Last Jedi release. That was a fun night.
Yeah. Okay, so did you tell them about that?
I didn't. I brought my baby over there.
So when Jedi
Survivor?
Survivor, yeah, I keep forgetting. Just a minute. So Jedi Survivor came out, and I was like, fuck yeah, because I started from start to finish.
Yeah.
Just like last one, I'm like, fuck yeah, I know everything about this game. I always had to, if I ever did play it, it was like the back end version where everything's breaking all the time and you're just flying through walls and shit, doing whatever you want. Never really played it. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to play it. But it only came out on PS5 or PC. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I have a PC, but I don't want to play it on PC. I want to sit on the couch and play it. Like a little gamer bitch. Okay? And then I was like, I don't have a PS5. And I look up how much they cost. I'm like, you guys don't pay me that much.
I'm not going to have a PS5.
I like, just make it. I can't afford it. So I'm like, oh, shoot. And then Keith told me he had one. I'm like, hey, buddy.
Yeah, don't twist my arm too much.
made a whole party around it. And I'm like, Star Wars party, let's go! And
Nice.
I
That's a true friend right
screen
there.
out back so we could play and everybody could watch.
Yeah, it was good. I brought home some of those little those pretzels that were dipped in the colored chocolate to look like lightsabers. I brought those from my daughter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you're one of those guys who makes it like a Game of Thrones
she
cupcake.
did. She went all out. She did the whole thing.
Fancy.
Oh, okay. Make it a theme party.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, we should do a whole episode on theme parties.
Oh,
That'd
yeah,
be
we should.
great.
Good topic. Going back to what Amy said. So I remember when I was on the Diablo 4, playing the alpha testing before they did the player release testing. And during the alpha testing, they had the Google AI voices, like the Siri voices. And then for the figures, they had like stick figures. So like the horse was like a stick drawing of a horse. And it was like the army characters where they're like this, didn't have any movement. Yeah. And the horse was like, so when it was narrating, you're in the Siri voice, like, okay, now you're going to Snowy Hill in the Siri voice. But then you see your stick horse going up and down like this. And then so I played that like 3 times. So us employees got to play it 3 times or 2 or 3 times before we actually got to see it fleshed out. And then by that time, all the employees were like, we want to go back to the stick horse. We want to go back to the Siri voice. We don't like this finished version product of it.
That reminds me of Charlie. Candy Mountain, Charlie.
We're on a bridge, Charlie.
It's a magically a pleurodon.
My kidney. My spleen. That's what it was, yeah.
I have a hilarious version of the boggling from like basically the people that are mapping out like the land and the story and shit. And they knew like bogglings were a thing. So like, all right, we put them here and here and here. And they usually just use shapes and shit. These things are the cutest things I've ever seen. I think it'd be hilarious to show them to you. These like blocked out versions of a boggling.
Like, if you find a picture, send it to me, and I'll
Like a Minecraft version. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a Minecraft version. Yep.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
I love seeing games
Like the
being
Laura
built.
Croft
Yeah.
with 22.
The Laura Croft.
There you go. There you go.
That version of a boggling is
Classic geometry.
And see, you want that version. Yeah, you like that version
Yeah.
compared to the final product. It's
Good
just always so
times.
cool.
ship it, bitch.
All right. For realsies this time, I will end it there for us. Amy, thank you so much. It was fun. That was more information and more fun than I thought. So thank you.
Okay, good.
Thanks, guys. RPG out.